Okay, I think we'll get started, and we'll catch everyone up as we go. I was just gonna do a brief sort of intro and background until we get started with the actual game. Anyway, so Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's a relatively new game. Came out last year, and it's getting a bunch of awards. It just won a bunch of awards with the Dice Tower. I don't remember what. I think it was best thematic. I think was one of the main ones it got. Oh, who we got here? Panda. Hello, Panda. How are you? Thanks for joining. Yeah, I think it won best thematic and a few other awards, and I think it's been nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. Yeah, and I have mixed feelings on the game personally, but it definitely is a fun game. It's not one of my favourites, but it's a fun game, and I'm not planning to cover it as a review explicitly, but I wanted to give it some comfort. It's such a thematic game as one the award would show, that it was a great example for the feast, and yeah, so I wanted to show off part of this, and I haven't actually played the game physically with other people. I've played a bunch on BGA, which is a great implementation, takes away a lot of the fiddliness, and I've played a bunch of solo games. I've played, there's the base solo mode out of the box, but then they released a solo campaign, which is four missions that each change the mechanics slightly. But there's also some carry across, like depending on how well you do in the first mission, you might start with a card or an assistant in the second mission, and there is an explicit story as you go on. I mean, it was pretty rote, the story. Nothing completely revolutionary, but it was good fun to mix up the base mechanics, and the app that actually tracks both it tracks the rules and scores, and even just the AI. Like, normally there's some tiles that you flip over randomly to track the AI actions, but that's completely handled by the app now, which is really helpful. So I think we have a few more people here now. Oh, Amanda, yes, it's I'll show off the food shortly. That's just off screen here, so it's just giving everyone a chance just to filter through before I show that off. And Board Game Spam, hello, thanks for joining. How are things down there? So where was I? Yes, just covering the game. So the other reason I wanted to cover this is I actually have a little side project in the works. Not ready to announce it yet. It's actually collaborating with someone else. So very excited to announce that, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But the first instance of that is actually also related to Lost Ruins of Arnak. And so this is originally envisioned to be something of a pairing with that. The timing didn't quite work out. I needed to do some kind of feast for the month, so I just wanted to get the ball rolling on this. And experiment with Twitch. I mean, I have done a couple of Twitch streams with like online conventions, like one for All Shucks and one for one of the local cons is called Terminal City Tabletop Convention. That's right. So I did a couple of convention streams with them, but it was like a bit hosted by someone else, so I wasn't having to handle the actual Twitch side of things. That's completely new to me, so please bear with me while I figure this out. I don't know if Monique's there, but she was with me briefly last night while we were trying to organise some of the tech things. I couldn't get the board to be the right way up, hence why I'm sitting at the side of the board instead of at the front of it. So you can all see the board cleanly once I transition that. Unfortunately, I only have the one camera. Multiple devices, but only one camera, so we'll make that as we go along. Merchant's Cove, yeah, I've heard some great things about that. I nearly backed it and pulled out at the last minute, but it looks like a great thematic game. Like, I love it's asymmetric, but from what I've heard, it's quite simple. Like, each of the players' mechanics are relatively simple sort of condensed versions of that. So very simple match 3, a very simple worker placement, which there's something to be said for like an asymmetric game that isn't a huge slog to learn, like Root or Oath. It's an accessible asymmetric game. So I've heard mixed things, but that a friend was just telling me this afternoon that he really appreciates that aspect of it. Hello Monique, thanks for joining. That is totally fine, look away. I hope you have some snacks at least, as I hope you everyone else. Please let me know what you are snacking on. I guess we'll, before I show you the food, I mean I'll show you what I've got here. I was originally planning a blue caracal coconut cocktail. But the feast was getting a little expensive and didn't want to make a separate trip to the liquor store for the blue caracal. So this is just Malibu and like tropical fruit juice. So very poor man's cocktail, but still tasty and refreshing. And you might see here, I did post a preview earlier, but we have the first of my, let's see, I'm just double checking the camera is right. Closer. First of my snacks, it is, I mean, I pretty much every feast I do has some degree of gingerbread. I love gingerbread, so it's always featured some way or another. So gingerbread tablets. Unfortunately, this batch didn't actually turn out that well. It was really crumbly, so it didn't really come together, which on one hand made it a lot harder to work with, but on the other hand, actually looks really like faded and cracked, which is so perfect for the actual theme. So the surface is all cracked and it was falling apart and crumbly, so that worked out perfectly. And then there's some mini ones scattered around here too. So let me check on chat. Strawberries and Phillips Brewery Pilsner. Oh, okay. So I thought it was like a strawberry beer for a second there, which actually is quite nice. There's was it Hearthstone Brewery? It's another Vancouver brewery. I think it do a nice strawberry sour that was really good. But you know, fresh strawberries and Pilsner is good. Phillips I've partaken in on occasion. That's okay, Amanda. Good luck with helping your mum. No problem. What else have we got here? It's an easy learn. Ooh, raspberry goes. Yeah, I'm really into the fruity beers, to be honest. I don't drink a lot of alcohol in general. When I do, it's generally pretty light beers, so like honey lagers and sours and cider. So yeah, that's all I drink generally. Had to play a number of 2-player games of which Vast was that? Was that what is it? Vast Crystal Caverns, I think, is the first one, and Vast Mysterious Manor, I think, is the newest one. I've only played the latter. I think it was just before the first Shucks. Some friends and I played a bunch of that. I think I played it once or twice. It's a really interesting game, but impossible to wrap your head around on the first game. Obviously, you have to play it a few times. Crystal Caverns. Okay. Yeah, I've not played that one. I've heard mixed things. That the general consensus seems to be that Mysterious Manor is a little better. But I mean, those games are never really about balance. Like, so much of the balance comes from the actual group dynamics. But the concept is amazing. I think, like, what are the characters in that? One person plays the cave itself, and the others are the adventurers. I think I'm not too familiar with that one. We have nice. Is there a new edition of Crystal Caverns, or do you mean you got Mysterious Manor? Okay, let's start showing off some of this food. I just have to move the camera a bit. We're a bit short on space here, unfortunately. Give me 1 second. So, if I turn this around, you don't have to look at me anymore. Okay. So, let me show you off what I have here. So, I showed you the tablet gingerbread tablets we have here. A friend actually just recommended that what I should have done is hardtack, which would have been perfect thematically. It's likely what the archaeologists would be eating on the island rather than gingerbread. But I mean, obviously, I'd rather make something that I can actually like to eat. Hardtack apparently has to be soaked in water for like 15 minutes before you can even eat it. So not the most appetizing option, but it would have been great thematically. So for the main course here, what we have is some kebabs. I'm unearthed about what to include here. I mean, I'll give you a quick rundown of my thought process in that what I wasn't sure about was whether to include... Sorry, this camera is not locking in place. Let me unplug that charging cable for now. Okay. I just have to hope that we don't go offline. Okay, so... I mean, I obviously could have themed it around what the archaeologists are going to be eating, but as Board Game Spam pointed out last week, that would largely be canned food, which wouldn't be the most appetizing. I mean, obviously, archaeologists are pretty adventurous in eating many different things. Modern archaeologists are going to be eating whatever the locals do. And luckily, most dig sites these days aren't super remote. I mean, there are usually there's some community in that area regardless. But obviously there's no... I mean, this being an uninhabited island, there's not much option for that. So I leaned into a little bit of what the original inhabitants likely would have been eating. I did some research on like prehistoric recipes. It was a really cool website I found that's like recipes through all the different time periods, and these ones were like Paleolithic, which isn't quite the right time period, because I mean they obviously are historic if they're writing tablets. But this works into it quite well. So what we have here is we have some kebabs with boar. I mean, there's obviously going to be boar on the island, both the giant guardian variety and also the regular variety. I'm sure in the hundreds, thousands of years since the island was inhabited, the boar population would have replenished quite nicely. But, I mean, as an archaeologist myself, or at least I used to be, any of these island civilizations largely would have been subsiding on shellfish. 90% of what they were eating in many of these sort of Pacific Island communities. So, like, I mean, I studied some indigenous communities in Australia, and most of the archaeology for those communities is just digging up the huge piles, cans of shellfish remains that they were eating, and that's largely what the studies of these civilizations is about, is what shellfish in like what ratios were they eating. So also in the kebabs we have some scallops and some mushrooms foraged from the island forests. Obviously there's some morels. How do you pronounce those? Which I've never actually had before. They're hard to find here in Vancouver, but I found a local fancy market here that was selling them. So we've got boar, morels, scallops, some oyster mushrooms in there too. All the sort of thing you'd be foraging for in the islands. Let me just don't worry. I'll just quickly double check chat and see if there's anything to catch up on. Oh, hello, Brooke. Thanks for joining. How are you doing? And do you have any stream snacks? So, okay, let's get to the next course. We've got a nice salad here. So what we have in here is largely sort of foraged pea shoots and weeds. I mean, I didn't forage for them myself. Thematically, that's what we're looking at. So no actual lettuce or anything. It's like pea shoots. What was actually in the? It was a pack of a miscellaneous sort of foraged weeds and pea shoots. So a good mix of things with some like edible flowers. Goat's cheese. I imagine you would likely find goats on this island, and calamari. I did originally envision this as having crab. I think one of the guardians might be a giant crab, But obviously, as I was saying, shellfish would be a big part of the diet. Unfortunately, I mean, crab is so fiddly. A, expensive, and B, just fiddly. I don't actually have like a shell cracker. It was going to be too much work. But, you know, calamari, seafood, any kind of seafood is going to be fair game on these kinds of islands. So your calamari with a very light lemon vinaigrette. So I didn't want to overpower it or anything, just a very nice light dressing. And yeah, a few varieties of pea shoots in there for some nice colour. And yeah, this was a really nice salad. I was actually originally, it was kind of inspired by a meal I had, nearly 10 years ago. It was a feast at a fancy restaurant in Sydney based on Game of Thrones. And I think it was like around season 2 or 3 where like Stannis Baratheon is having this big bonfire on the beach and Melisandre is burning human sacrifices. And like this entire feast at this fancy restaurant was themed around this one scene. And so you had like fire roasted fish served on a bed of like driftwood, like singed driftwood. But there was like on the side there was this really nice salad of like with foraged weeds and goat's cheese, and it was like one of the best things I've ever had. Just this salad stood out so much. So trying to recreate a little bit of that. Okay, and I mean we've got some snacks there, good measure. You know, archaeology is always going to have some degree of snakes, and gummy worms are one of my favourite things. So there you go. Let me just double check on the chat again. Yeah, the dish doesn't quite fit the theme, unfortunately. I was hoping to find like a nice wooden dish or something, but this is already a pretty expensive feast. I can't afford to buy new tableware for every meal, unfortunately. So I think that's one of my wife's old dishes. Maybe it was a wedding gift. It is very cute. It just doesn't really fit. Okay, so that out of the way, why don't we take a look at this game? So, sorry, I'll just bring up the app on my tablet here, and I will orient this. So, I mean, once I've done reading the preamble, I'll orient this so everyone can see what's going on. But I'll just need there's quite a bit of text here setting up the story. So let's have a look here. I think I've set up everything. There is some special setup for each of these solo missions. I've already covered that. But you know what? Why don't I cover some of the basics of the game before we get into the actual solo campaign. So, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I mean, let's double check this camera. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. If anyone has any issues with the camera angle, I can move things around a bit, but I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so as you may have heard, the one thing that everyone's talking about this game is that it's a hybrid of worker placement and deck building. And it's a little bit of each. It's not neither side of it I found particularly in depth. It's sort of a shallow worker placement and a shallow deck building elements. But the way they interact is quite interesting. So what we have here is the island that we're trying to reach, the temple at the top here. But in order to get there, you have to make your way through the forest and the other locations and do quite a bit. There's plenty of other things to research along the way until you can get to the top of the tower here. So at the start, you basically got our base camp of locations here. So these are like what you'd consider locations for a worker placement. You can put a worker here to take any of these actions. And there being in a in a solo game, there only being one location, one space for each of these 5. So these are going to get you the 5 basic resources. You've got your gold, you've got your compasses, your tablets, your arrowheads, and your jewels. And the components for this game are one of the best elements of it. I mean, these are, they're plastic, obviously, but they're like molded, see-through gems, and you've got your Let me see if I can get this close to the mic. The way these arrowheads sort of clink is really cool. And you've got your tablets, which again I haven't gotten around to doing this yet, but a lot of people will. Oh, sorry, I think my hand is a bit above the camera there. A lot of people will have done like little paint jobs on these, like just a basic wash to make it look really faded and aged, which is a really cool effect that I'll hopefully get around to doing soon. So you've got your worker placements there, and you're going to start with just 2 workers, and you're only ever going to have 2 workers. There's no way of increasing that. You're going to have 2 workers. So on your turn, what you can do is to put a worker down. Oh, sorry, I'll also just show you. You're going to have a hand of cards here. That's the start of the game. Everyone's going to have the same hand. You're going to have 2 cards here that give you compasses, 2 cards that give you coins, and 2 fear cards. These are the obligatory. They don't do anything, but they fill up your deck. They're worth negative points at the end of the game. You want to get rid of them. There is a very minimal use for them, but they're generally bad. So that's your starting hand. Now, all of these have dual use. Anytime I could play this card for its face value, I could get a compass. And this little lightning bolt means it doesn't cost an action. So I could play this card, take a compass, and then still take a normal action. Now, all these cards are also going to have a little symbol at the top. Some of them will have 2, but most will have one or the other, either a boat or a car, generally. And that is going to correspond to each of the locations on the board here, and basically where you can go. So, if I wanted to put a worker placement, one of my workers on the campsite here, for example, and take 2 coins, what I would need to do is I would need to also play a card matching the travel icon. Now, in this case, the travel icon required is a foot, which is the easiest one to meet. Like even the fear cards have a foot on them. A boat or a car also count as a foot. So everything, any kind of symbol counts as a foot. But if you have a fear card, it can only be used as a foot. So that's one way of getting rid of at least using fear cards early in the game, is going to be using them to go visit these locations with a foot. So that's the easiest thing you can do. So you put a worker down on a space and you discard a card to match the travel icon on that space. So that's most of what you're going to be doing here. Now, you'll see there's also some locations further up the board here. There's 2 tiers of locations. There's the level 1 locations in the middle here, and the level 2. So these need to be, before we can visit those locations and find out what they're going to get us, we need to explore them. So that's a multi-step process. So, for your main action for a turn, say you want to explore. Say I'm going to explore this space right here. What I would do is, I would put my worker on that space. I will play a card with a boat. Say this one. Because it's an unexplored location, to explore it, I need to spend 3 compasses. So that's what the compasses are for. So I also need to pay 3 compasses. So it's like 3 different things you need to pay in order to explore new locations. That's where some of the sort of fiddly upkeep comes into this game. So that's what it costs to explore a new location. And what you would then do is reveal a location. And that's going to tell you, that's going to give you a combination of resources. There's a good mix. There's a bunch of tiles, like about a dozen tiles or so here. That are all going to give you a mix of resources. You don't, in future rounds, that location is going to be explored. You're going to know what it gives you. But the first time you explore it, you have no idea what it's going to give you. In this case, it's a fear card, which is bad. A jewel, which is good, and a tablet. So you're going to get a random assortment of resources. So there is a fair degree of improvisation in this game. It can seem like a bit of a tight economic game, the way you're managing resources, but because you never really know exactly what you're going to get, you do have to improvise quite a bit. And the other thing, unfortunately, that happens is this island may be unoccupied, at least by human residents, but there are still guardians of the ruins. So when you explore a new location, you are also going to draw a guardian. And perfect, it is the giant boars that we may have hunted for our kebabs there. So it's going to be a random guardian come up. Now the symbols here are but what you have to pay to defeat that guardian. Not necessarily right away, it'd be for a future action. But in this requires, for example, discarding a card with a foot symbol, a coin, and an arrowhead. And that is another main action, so you have to do it in the next turn or a future round. And if you pay those costs, the card goes away. You actually keep that for you can get a one-off bonus. There's like a little symbol on the top there. That's a one-off travel symbol I would get, for example. If you don't defeat the guardian and your worker is still at that location at the end of the round, you take a fear card. But then the guardian will stay there on future rounds, and someone else might visit that location and try and defeat it. Okay. So the other thing you can do, so I mean, as the rounds go on, there's going to be 5 rounds, I should have said, 5 rounds represented by this moon staff here. So as the rounds go on, there's going to be more and more locations, and you'll have a better idea of what those locations are going to give you, and it'll all become a little more predictable. So what you can then do is, once you've visited some locations, you've collected a bunch of resources, what you then do is you're going to spend those resources to advance on the research track here. Sorry, let me just get rid of these tiles here. So, I mean, archaeology is largely a collaborative effort, but in this case, there are multiple competing archaeologists on the islands, all trying to race to the temple. And there are various little milestones along the way that give you bonuses for the first person there. Now, there's various bases. It's something of a flow chart here. There's sort of paths that split and go together. So from the very bottom here, you could go to either of these 2 spaces, and going to a space requires the resources here. So I'd pay a compass and a arrowhead, and I would move my magnifying glass up to here. Now you have 2 tokens. You've got a magnifying glass and a book. They both advance independently. Your magnifying glass always has to be first, and then you can research a book up to the same level as your magnifying glass. The analogy in the rules is, I mean, first you have to research something and learn about it before you can write it down. So magnifying glass first, then book. When you advance to a location, you're going to get a bonus matching here. So if I was to move a magnifying glass to here, I would get a coin. If I was to move my book here, I would get an assistant. Assistants aren't too important. They give you little one-off bonuses. I'll cover those later. If you advance to one of these locations, say I was to get my magnifying glass to here, I would get a compass. I would also get a compass from here, but that's only for the first person to visit the location. Once the first person gets it, that tile goes away. Finally, say I've got my compass all the way up top here. Sorry, my magnifying glass all the way up to the top. Oh, I'm actually missing a setup tile here. I need a couple of tiles to go right here. So, the very top of the track here. First person to get to this point, you pay, what is it, a compass, a coin, and a jewel. Gets to go here, you get 23 points. Next person to do that only gets 21, and so on. So the first person to get to the top of the research track gets the most points. And you also get first choice of one of these tiles. So the first person that gets here looks at both of these and chooses one. Now from this point, this is where it gets interesting. There's even more points. Once you're at the temple, you can spend more resources to actually research it and look at all of the carvings and things that are inside. So there's 3 tiers of resources here. Take one of these bronze tiles that's worth 2 points each. You would pay the resources underneath. So this first one is what? Coin and 2 tablets. To take this one would be worth, it costs you a jewel. This one costs you a compass and an arrowhead. Now, if you're lucky and have a lot more resources, you could take one of the silver ones. But the silver tablet that's worth 6 points requires both sets of resources underneath it. So this silver tablet requires both these sets of resources. This one requires both of these. And as you might imagine, the gold carving tablet worth 11 points is going to require all 3 resources. So you put basically one of every resource to take a gold tablet. You can only do that when you've actually reached the top of the temple, which isn't even a given for any particular game. So that's going to be your main source of points. So if you reach the top of the temple, you get 23 points, or depending on which position you're in. If you don't reach the top of the temple, you basically get as high as you are. Say my magnifying glass is here, I would get 12 points. Say my book has only got this height, I would get 6 points, so 18 total. And then plus points for the tablets. Now, that is about it. So you're going to be putting your workers down to visit the locations in the middle of the board to gain resources. You're going to be spending resources to advance on the research track and get points. Pretty straightforward. The other thing you can do is play cards. So the cards, obviously you have to play a card to put a worker down, but the cards also just have a benefit themselves. I mean, the ones you start with, as I said, are just give you a resource. But there are some better cards out here, which I need to draw out actually, that will give you better advantages. So there are 2 types of cards. There are blue artifacts, which at the start of the game are quite rare. There's only one of those available at the start of the game. And those are going to require, let me just show you this card off here. These require tablets. You can see in the bottom left corner that has 4, not tablets, compasses. So I have to spend 4 compasses to take the card. And it gives you 1 point as per the bottom right. And it's going to give you an effect. So this one, for example, would be discard a card, discard a card to use 2 of your assistants, basically. Now, so you've got your artifacts, then you've also got your items. So, I mean, artifacts are based on the ancient civilization. Then you have the items, which is what the archaeologists are bringing with them to the islands. Now, at the start of the game is going to be a whole bunch of these. You're going to have 5 to choose from. And these require gold. So, as you might see here, the bottom corner, that's going to cost 4 gold to buy, rather than compasses. It's going to give you, to draw a card, a coin, and a compass. Now, you might see some of these have double travel icons. So they're worth 2, which is these... Well, the top tier of locations here all require 2 travel icons to visit these locations with your worker. Now, that could be 2 different cards, each with a boat, or you can have a card that has 2 travel icons. Some, very rarely, you'll come across an icon with a plane. A plane is a wild card. It could be either a boat or a car. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. If I missed any of the rules, please let me know. But I think it covers most of the basics. There are a few other things that aren't really relevant for this solo campaign, so I won't worry about it right now. For example, when you visit a location, when you explore a new location for the first time, so there's a level of unpredictability. You don't know what tiles are going to come up. One thing that offsets that is normally... Where are they? Here, idols. Normally in the process you would get an idol. So this is, it's just worth 3 points at the end of the game. It's also going to give you a resource, a random resource. In this case it's a compass. But they're also can be spent. So it's a bit hard to see, so the board's a bit small. But there's spaces on your board here where you can spend up to 4 of them over the course of the game for a wild effect. So you could spend them to get to draw a card, to draw 2 tablets, or a you can, if you spend an icon and an idol and a coin for a duel. So it's one more way of making things slightly more predictable, that you always have that sort of wild card effect up your sleeve if you have an idol. So that's one way that the game sort of compensates you for exploring. Now, for the solo campaign mission though, these aren't actually included. So we won't have that backup plan available, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll cover the rest of the rules like relevant to the solo campaign once we get to it. I think we're about ready to start looking at that. So how are we going for time? That's fine. No more comments. Excellent. Actually, I'm just going to refresh this because this is a very old laptop and likes to just forget that it's supposed to update. So, no, that's good. Okay, no comments. Excellent. So, why don't we start up this solo campaign? There's quite a bit of preamble text, but and for those of you who know me, I'm a big fan of theme and love leaning into that sort of thing. Flavour text. Obviously, I'm a big fan of flavour, so if this tablet will just log me in, I can get to that. There you go. Okay. I said I will rotate this tablet so everyone can see once I'm actually using it for the AI, but right now while I'm just reading, I'll keep it here. So, okay. Here we go. When a wealthy sponsor approached our small team offering to fund an expedition, I could scarcely believe it. Its sole goal would be to locate the lost expedition of the famous Professor Kutel, who vanished about a year ago. The man was widely known for his supposedly delusional claims that a lost land was hidden somewhere in the uncharted waters of the Pacific Ocean. Needless to say, we accepted right away. I was already familiar with some of his research, but let me tell you, this entire endeavour was much more challenging than I had anticipated. I must confess I was on the verge of giving up several times and would have probably turned back long ago, were it not for my dear pupil Antoinette Dupré. You could very well say it was she who found this wondrous island. Her tenacity and judgment do not cease to amaze me. Sadly, life is not filled with only pleasant surprises. I've recently discovered that Antoinette has decided to rebel against my leadership. She formed a splinter faction in our expedition, gaining many for her cause. I must have been too blind to see it. She is a great scholar with a great passion for knowledge and accuracy, and was a great friend too. But maybe she is too young, too greedy to gain recognition and fame. Still, she is an aspiring figure nonetheless, and many are swayed by her passion. Our expedition was supposed to be able to face anything, but the split happening and so many following her lead, I fear we might not be able to accomplish our goal here. So, this expedition has washed up on the Lost Ruins of Arnak, and we are both looking for the previous expedition with Professor Kutel, but also trying to beat Antoinette there. Though, to be honest, it sounds like she kind of deserves it if you supposedly wouldn't have gotten here were it not for her. So maybe we'll let her have it. But either way, okay. So now we have some options here for basically the difficulty of the game. There's 10, 11, I think like technically 11 sort of difficulty scales. Because so the AI will have 5 tiles. Sorry, 10 tiles. They have 10 tiles, each representing an action that they could take on the board. And we'll be flipping those randomly. And there are basic versions of each of those tiles, then also difficult and like extreme versions of each of those tiles. So depending on whether you have all 10 being the basics or all 10 being medium or hard, there's like quite a large difference in difficulty there. I think when I was playing the solo campaign by myself last time, I played it around difficulty 3. So 3 of the 10 tiles were like hard mode. But what we'll do here, maybe for what it's worth, I did beat the campaign rather handily. So I think we'll up the ante a little bit here, and we'll, if I can upgrade this, sorry, I can actually show it now. If it will let me. No. I may have to start this again. Sorry, 1 second. Restart campaign. There we go. Okay. So this is what the app looks like. By the way, so it's a browser app. It's not actually it's like another dedicated app on your phone. It's just in the browser, so you can bring it up on your laptop or tablet or whatever you have. So you can just play a standalone regular solo game using this, as you can see here, and it's quite handy just for upkeep. So I mean, you don't have to have the physical tiles that you're flipping over and shuffling them around, and it also has like a little handy score tracker that's quite helpful. So yeah, if you're playing solo, regardless of whether you're using the campaign or not, this is quite a handy little app. So we're gonna play campaign. I'm gonna restart that again, and we'll play. Let's just jump in here. Okay, we did the prologue. Meet the rival. Okay, here we go. So we should be able to reset this now. So as I said, you could have each of these. There's 5 cards. I thought there was 10. It might be that 5 are always basic, and then the other 5 can be a mixture. So you can have them all the basic level of green. You can have them sort of the red advanced, or you can have them purple, which is the super advanced. And based on the difficulty mode, you're going to start, like, the more difficult you're playing, you're going to start with less resources. If I, for example, went back to super default, you're going to start with a lot of resources as well to support you. So I think we're going to start with just the middle of the road, sort of basically 5 out of 10 difficulty. So we're going to be Expedition Leader, and we're going to start with 2 coins and a compass. Confirm. Okay, so Chapter 1, a bit more flavour text here. Okay. When we first arrived, the land seemed pristine, but soon we found signs of human passage, wreckage of a plane near the shore. Surprisingly, it appears that with the right equipment, we might be able to repair it. What a discovery! On our approach to the wreckage, we disturbed a strange beast, a giant owl, seemingly a statue hewn from rock. However, it flew off as we approached it. Our poor cook is still in shock over this. That would be me, I guess. In which you can see the owl here for some... and it's going to play a special role in this initiative. Where were we? Our poor cook is still in shock over this. He claims to have seen it carrying something away, possibly a book. If that was some kind of journal that Cutel left behind, we should definitely try searching for it. For now, we have decided to look for any signs of the expedition in the jungles near the shore in hopes of locating any possible survivors, while also trying to track down the owl to retrieve the book it carried away, for it may hold priceless information. However, we encountered beasts in the jungles, the likes of which we have never seen before. Giant, majestic and fearsome. Some become friendlier when offered gifts. Others, strangely enough, respond if you best them in a fight. They almost become tame, lingering around, even helping us for a while. Never have I seen such a thing. I sincerely hope we will have time to study this phenomenon. For better or worse, Antoinette and her followers decided to pursue a different course of action, focusing heavily on studying the ruins. God forbid an archaeologist actually study the artifacts they're trying to find. Sorry. I do not know what their aim actually is, but we can say for certain that they may have shown no interest in looking for Professor Cutel so far. Perhaps she plans to claim sole credit for discovering the island. Okay. So there was a couple of interesting things I found in the flavour text there. One is that it's very firmly set in the real world. I've seen some people talk about how it's like basically a fantasy theme, but it did refer to an island in the Pacific, so it is in theory a real place, including all the baggage with real world archaeology that they entail. And the other thing being the Guardians, see, you're not really defeating them, you're just overcoming them by offering them things. And it almost sounds a little bit like basically Pokemon. That, yeah, you give them the right things or defeat them in battle and then they help you out. So, that is our setup for Chapter 1. We've got some extra rules here. Basically, there's a location, the plane that we discovered is down here, replacing the base location. And at any point we can spend 5 coins to take this aeroplane card into our hand, which will give us, what's this do? Whoa. If I explore a new location and use this card, I can pay 2 less compasses, basically. And it's worth 3 points into the game, which is nothing to sneeze at. And if played as a travel card, it's just 2 planes. That's a great wild card you've got there. So that's 5 coins, I'm pretty sure. Or 4 coins. Let me double check that. Rules. Yeah, 5 coins. Okay, so that's one thing that's different. The other is that there are no idols in this version. So when were we to explore a location here, instead of just drawing a random tile, we actually draw 2 and choose one. So it is giving us a little more agency back. But we're also going to take one of these tokens. These aren't actually from the game. These are scythe coins. This tells you to use any random cubes, whatever you have lying around. So I would take this, and then the app would give me a bonus that we will find out when we get there. But then we move this coin to here, and basically you're not allowed to research a level of the track here until a coin is there. So you have to keep exploring these locations before you can advance up the research track. So the goal here is actually this clock. This represents where the owl is. The owl is here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This does count as one of the icons, so you can automatically advance to here. But I'll need 5 more of these coins, so we need to explore 5 locations before we can even get here. Now, once we get to this location, I can defeat the owl to take the journal card, which we have here. And this would allow me to exile this card, so discard it from the game, to research with my book for free. So I can basically burn this card to move my book up and ignore the cost for that level, which could be useful. But really you're paying 3 tablets as well for it anyway, so that's somewhat actually more expensive. Mind you, any Guardians you defeat are also just worth 5 points into the game. So Guardians A give you a bonus, so this one gives me a plane as a one-off, and then you flip it and it's just worth 5 points into the game. So that is basically it. What are our actual goals here? So our goals right now are to advance to the clock marker here, and overcome the Owl Guardians. That's what we have to do in order to beat this mission. We don't have to get to the top of the island. That will give us more points, but it's not compulsory. So get to the clock, defeat the owl, find the book. But there are also some extra achievements. Each of these solo missions will give you some achievements that will give you extra points. Because, in theory, the points don't really matter. As long as you get more points than than Antoinette, you advance to the next mission. But it's also tracking how many points you win by. So your total campaign score is the cumulative total of how many points you win by over those 4 missions. Okay? Now, so our achievements for some bonus points here are get my book to the clock, so I can get my magnifying book to the top to beat the mission, but if I also get my book to this point, I get an extra 4 points. Now, if I do that without using the journal special ability, I get an extra 3 points. And if I get my magnifying glass all the way to the temple here, it's an extra 5 points. Now, that's basically it. So I think we're ready to start. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm just going to try refreshing this because I'm paranoid that I'm missing some comments or something here. But I know some of you are lurking. That's absolutely fine. Okay, that's fine. So, rival always goes first before you get an action. And we basically we alternate taking one action. So she'll take one, I'll take one, they'll take one, back and forth. They have at most 10 actions in a round. I can take as many as I am able to. Though the first couple of rounds, since there's not actually a lot to do, we've got some very basic cards, it will probably be pretty short. And I'll explain the AI actions as they come up. They're all basic analogies of what you will be doing yourself. So you have 6 cards in your deck at the start of the game, you draw 5, so 1 won't be used. Of course, everyone's hoping that the one that you didn't choose will be Fear. Unfortunately, I have both Fear, I have 2 compasses, and a gold. Okay, so that's our starting hand. So first we'll see what Antoinette does. Okay, so what this means is if Antoinette has a worker, so what I should have said is, so I have 2 workers. Antoinette has every other worker in the game. So for the 3 players that aren't being used, she has all of their workers. So she has 6 workers basically. So which is basically everything that these actions will possibly let her do. So she has no shortage of workers. What this means is if she has a worker on a space with a guardian, she defeats that guardian, and that's worth 5 points to her. Otherwise, she advances on the research track. So she's going to go up. Now, at this point, she actually has 2 options. So she's going to go to either space. When you have a tiebreaker like that, you use this arrow here. So she's actually going to go to the left here. Okay. So now it's my action. So at this point, what we really want to do, I mean, obviously we have to explore. That's pretty vital for this scenario, and that's going to give us some bonuses as well. And once we have some resources, we have a better idea as to how our turn is going to go. So I think exploring is our best bet. Because what we can do is I have 2 compasses, 2 cards that will give me compasses. So I'm going to play both of those. Take 2 compasses, and I started with 1. Remember, because based on the difficulty of the game. So I now have 3 compasses. So playing those cards, by the way, because they're magnified, because they have the lightning bolt, that's a free action, so it doesn't actually cost my turn. So I've now got 3 compasses. So again, to research, I mean, these are all the same largely because not often in a normal game, you'd see what the bonus for the idols is, and you could choose accordingly. Because they're all basically the same to us at this point, that's not going to make a difference. The only thing is, of the travel icons I have left, I've only got a boat. So I think we're going to go to one of these boat locations. So what we would do, we put a worker down, we'd pay our 3 compasses, I would pay my boat's travel icon. And so now we're going to visit this location. So first, we take 2 tiles. And I can choose one. So I need to take a coin and 2 tablets, or a coin and a arrowhead. Let's have a look. At this point, arrowheads I think are going to be more important for these first couple of rows of the research track. So I think we're going to take that one. We'll take this here. I'll take a coin and an arrowhead. I'll put this back on the bottom of the deck. Then we draw our guardian. And it is the stone bird. We can see there. So what it's going to require is a jewel and a foot icon. So which I don't have any jewels right now. So chances are I'm not going to be able to defeat this bird this round. So let's see. Oh, we also get this. So we've got this coin. It's going to go over here. So we're now allowed to research this first level of the track. But we also reveal this on the app here. So a welcome respite. While examining the jungles close to our destination today, we found a little pond. There is such a serene place. I feel like spending just a few moments here would give us enough energy to walk till nightfall. So I've got a couple of options here. I can draw a card and a coin, or take 2 tablets. Now we know what our card is. Now it's worth noting in this game, there is no cycling your deck. If you get an ability to draw a card and there's no more cards in your deck, nothing happens. You don't get to reshuffle your cards and start drawing again. You only shuffle your cards and put them back at the end of each round. So it doesn't really behoove heavy sort of deck cycling strategies. And we know that all that is a gold. On the other hand, it's round 1. Buying cards to power up our next actions with gold is pretty useful. So I think we might actually take that. So I draw this card and take a coin. And that's our action. So now we go back to Antoinette's turn. What does this mean again? Oh, you know what? I think, okay, so this is just she draws an idol. So, she's going to be collecting idols. I think in the normal solo game, this tile is different. But because idols aren't included in this game, this is an alternate way of her to collect idols. So we're going to draw an idol at random, and it's a coin. Now she doesn't get the actual resource, but she has spaces here for each of the idol icons. So it's going to go there, and that's only worth 3 points for her at the end of the game. Now, anytime I draw that same idol symbol again, it's going to only be worth 2 points for her. So she gets 3 points for every idol for the first time she gets each icon. But any subsequent icon, matching icon, she only gets 2 points. Okay? So in round 1, she just draws a random idol. Okay, so back to me now. There's no way I'm going to be able to explore again. I don't really have a way of getting enough compasses. So at this point, the best bet is just going to be visiting one of these basic locations in the bottom here. Now, we do have an option here for getting a jewel. So what this means is discard a card to gain a jewel. Now, I happen to have a couple of fear cards in my hand, so I have cards to burn. That's not really a concern. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to this location. I have to pay a... who's there? I have to pay a foot travel icon, which I have. I have 1 fear card, so I'm going to spend that. So now I discard a card to get a jewel. I'm actually going to discard this coin. And then I'm going to take a jewel. Okay. So, back to Antoinette. So, what this means is she is going to take an artifact card. Depending on whether it's a basic or an advanced tile, it would be the card worth the least number of points or the card with the most number of points. Now, unfortunately, this is the advanced version, so she would normally get the artifact card with the most points. Now, fortunately, there's only one option here, and it's only worth 1 point, so that's bad luck, Antoinette. Okay, and then we replenish that card. Okay. So, back to me. Now, I have one fear card left. It's with a travel icon. That is what is required to defeat this guardian. Because remember, at the end of this turn, if I pull my worker back and this guardian is still here, I would have to take another fear card. So I'm actually going to defeat this Guardian now. So, defeating a Guardian is your main action for the turn. So what that would be is I'm going to spend a foot icon and the jewel we got last action. And discard those to defeat the Guardian. Now this Guardian is only worth a plain symbol in a future round, so that'll be helpful. And that means I don't draw a fear card at the end of the round. So that's the action. So back to Antoinette. Okay, so this means she's going to put down a worker at any location that would give her a arrowhead. Now normally she would start at the top and work her way down, and you would use this as a tiebreaker. But there was only one space currently that would give her an arrowhead, and it's this very basic one down here. So she's going to go there. Okay, simple. So I'm out of cards now. I'm out of workers, so not a lot of options. What I do have is a bunch of coins. So I think the best bet right now is to set up for the next round. So you have a bunch here. So this one will let us draw cards. Also draw cards. Give us a coin and a compass. So there's basically two equivalents here. So draw a card, put a worker down with a travel icon. It's a free travel icon. And that one's a car, this one's a boat. They're equivalent. Or a horse, draw a card, and a coin, and a compass. Now that's pretty good, but it's going to eat up all of my coins. At the moment, since I don't have a way of getting rid of fear cards, I think the best bet is to try and flesh out the deck a little more and just decrease the likelihood that I'm actually going to draw that. So better to have several weak cards than one powerful one. So I'm going to buy this hat. So buying one card is one action. I'm going to buy the hat. It goes to, when you buy an item card, it goes to the bottom of your deck. So you're guaranteed to draw it in the next round. But had I already had a card there, it wouldn't be, it's not necessarily the next card, but it's going to be, you're going to draw that before any of the cards that you've discarded from your current hand, if that makes sense. Now, so I bought a card for a coin. These will slide down, and we'll draw a new card. Okay, Antoinette. Next. Okay, so she's going to try and find a jewel. There's nowhere on the jewel, sorry, nowhere to find the jewel on the board. Only places where I'm already at, so suck it, Antoinette. So she just passes that round. Okay, so back to me. I'm going to buy some more cards here. They're all pretty expensive. I'm only going to be able to buy one more at best. So I think we're going to go for the ostrich. So 3 cards for an ostrich. Now, again, so this is going to go on the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to draw the... I can't remember what it was. The card we got last round would be drawn before the ostrich. Okay, so these are going to go down again. And Antoinette is now looking for coins. So she's going to go here. Okay, now I'm pretty much out of actions right now. I do have a magnifying glass. Sorry, no, an arrowhead. But to research, we need an arrowhead and a compass. So that's not really going to get us very far. So we've prepped to get some better actions next turn. So I think we're going to pass for now. And so we'll just see what Antoinette is going to do. So first she's going to take an item card. So she's going to take the item card worth the most number of points, which is currently this one. Okay, now she's going to look for tablets. Looking for... Okay, so this is just advancing the research track. So she's always going to advance at least one space on the research track, potentially 2 if there's no guardian to defeat. So she's going to go, up. Because from this location, you can only go here. Oh, no, you can possibly go here. So again, the tiebreaker is left. So she's going to go here. This gets discarded. So I missed out on that. But that now behooves me to try and go this direction to get this bonus. Okay. So that's it. That's it for her actions. That is round 1 of 5 of the mission. So what's now? So we're going to clean up for the round. So what we're going to do, first of all, discard the cards on either side of the moon staff. And the moon staff moves up a space to represent what round you're in. And so now we're going to have two artifacts. So every round, there's going to be less items to choose from, but more artifacts to choose from. Okay. So we're going to take our workers back. And again, at this point, we would normally take a fear if there were a guardian there. We dodged that bullet. We're good. And then Antoinette's going to bring hers back. And I think... obviously, we're going to shuffle our discard. And put that on the bottom of our deck. So, fortunately, we know we're going to draw at least 2 good cards before everything else. We'll hit the next round on here. Let me just double check in case I'm forgetting anything. So reset your board. Normally if you have any assistants, so assistants are 1 use only. You can use them once per round, and so at the end of the round you would refresh those. Basically tap them like you would a magic card. We advance the card row, and we draw 5 cards. Okay. Oh, hey Max, how are you? How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Do you have any stream snacks? Yes, I wish I was playing Valorant, Valoni. I'm quite jealous of that. We just finished round 1 of the solo mission. So we're up against Antoinette. Is our rival in this game. She's trying to beat us to the temple, but we're also trying to find Professor Kutel from the previous expedition that went missing. So I'm drawing my cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay. Oh, okay. So we can get 1 fee card and our 2 coins. But we have the 2 good cards we bought last round. Speaking of which, I actually have an official Indiana Jones hat that I would have worn, but it's unfortunately back in Australia. Oh yes, let me give you a quick rundown, Max, of what's in the menu here. We have kebabs with giant boar. We had a giant boar here somewhere. Where are they? I must have shuffled them back in. Sorry. One of the guardians is like giant boar. So we have kebabs with giant boar, scallops, and foraged mushrooms, and we have a salad with like foraged weeds and pea shoots, goat's cheese, and calamari. What have we got here? Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's just, I'm literally just streaming with my phone. My laptop is ancient and not really up to it. So streaming on my phone, app on the tablet, chat on the laptop is all it can handle. So multitasking here, but I think it's working so far. Okay, so where were we? We've got our cards. Oh, and so Antoinette always goes first in the round, so she is going to take an item. Again, they're all only worth 1 point, so she misses out there and is going to take the cheap army knife. Excellent. Okay. So, what are we trying to achieve this round? Well, we're going to want to start researching this before time gets ahead of us, but we also need to keep exploring, and we're going to need some compasses for that. So where do we get compasses? It's not really an easy place to get compasses right now. Best, I think we're only going to be able to get 1 set this round, and that's only if we do a very specific set of actions. So, and again, we need another one just to be able to get here, so that's quite tricky. We can only hope that the bonus for researching will also give us compasses, which is always an option. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to go to this location here and get 2 compasses. Oh, and we also need a foot icon for that, so we'll discard after your card. Okay, back to Antoinette. She is going to grab the gem. So she's going to take this spot here, so we can no longer do that this round. Okay, now to get my 3rd compass to explore, my only option is playing this hat we got last round. So we'll play that. Now it is an instant action, so it's not going to cost me my turn. So we get a coin and a compass. Then for my main action, we can spend those compasses to straight and explore. Now what I'm going to do is if I play this, so as my action, I'm going to play the card. What this card lets me do is 1, draw a card. 2, put a worker down. Normally putting a worker down would be your action, but this card is letting me do that as part of the card action. So I'm going to put a worker down, say here, and I don't have to pay a car icon. So it gives me a discount of a car icon. So that's a slight bonus there. Okay, so let's see what we get. We are drawing 2 locations and looking at them. Okay, so both are going to let us draw a card. One will give us gold and tablets, one will give us an arrowhead. Now we already have an arrowhead, so I think we might start collecting some tablets. Okay, so we're going to put this one down. So I'm going to draw a card, take a coin, and a tablet. Okay, now comes the bad news. We've got a guardian, and it's the giant ants. Oh god. It's time for Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, I guess. Okay, so that ant's going to require 2 feet and a compass. Now, fortunately, I've now drawn my 2 compass cards. We might be able to handle something there. Let's have a look. First, we've now taken this coin that will let us research the second level on the track here. So let's see what happens there. Mysterious statue. Upon our arrival here, we were pleased to discover a largely intact statue of Ara Anu. Interestingly, we found that if we place any tablets or arrowheads in front of it, they are replaced by other things overnight. Could animals be responsible? not the giant guardians? Okay, or we could take... So what these symbols mean, probably can't see this very clearly. These little arrows, what they basically mean is resource upgrades. So that will let you do one of 2 things. 1, upgrade a tablet to an arrowhead. Or 2, upgrade an arrowhead to a gem, the red gems. So it's basically, you've got 2 upgrades. So I've got 2 of those, or I could take a coin and a compass. Now the upgrade's actually pretty good. We have some resources to upgrade. Now, had I not had any to upgrade, you just miss out on that. No luck. But we have some resources, and upgrading to a crystal would actually be useful since that's required here. So I think we might actually take that option. So we'll upgrade both of our resources. So instead of a tablet and an arrowhead, we'll get an arrowhead and a crystal. Okay. Alright, so that was my turn. Back to Antoinette. Okay, so she's going to advance again. Oh, what I missed last turn. So whenever she researches, what she also does is she discards an assistant. She doesn't collect assistants. They're no benefit to her. But she just discards one from the stack, which cycles that. So what I didn't do was discard one last round. And so now for this round, she's going to advance again. So she's getting a good head start on the research track there. and then discards another assistant now from the left. Okay, so back to me. Now, so we've still got a bunch of cards here for a bunch of free resources, but we've spent both of our workers, so there's really no point in holding these cards since they're no use as travel icons anymore. Our workers have been spent, so I think to save some time, simplicity, we're just going to discard all of those to get those resources. So 2 compasses, 2 coins. Now, what we can do is, so that was a free action. I guess we could, actually, that's one thing to consider, is we could defeat the ant. You know what? Let's do that. I'm actually going to hold back these 2 coins. We're going to get rid of the coins and hold on to these two. So, ant requires 2 feats. Now, feats are basically, anything can be used as a foot. So, boats, cars, planes, anything can be used as a feat. So, I'm going to, as my main action, spend these 2 cards and a compass to defeat this ant. Now, what this ant does is has a little icon here that's for exile a card, so get rid of it from your deck. Now that is super useful for getting rid of those pesky fear cards. Okay, so we killed the ants, though there are a lot more from that picture there. Okay, that was our action. Okay, so let's go back to Antoinette. She is looking for the arrowheads. So she now has a couple of options. So she could go to this location that we explored last turn, or this one here. But as I said before, she's going to start from the top down and when she's choosing a location. So she's going to go here and block this. Not that it matters to us. We've done what we can with our workers. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this ant right now for this exile action. It's a free action. So I'm going to flip the ants to get my free exile. So there was a fear card in here somewhere. Here it is. I'm going to get rid of that fear card for good. No more fear. Fear is the mind killer. Now that's the other worker placement deck building hybrid game. Okay, so that was a free action. So we still have a turn here. What have we got? We've got a few resources here to spend. Why don't we start researching? So if I... Ooh, okay, so there are a couple of options here as to which direction we go. Ideally, we would take this, but we don't really have any spare upgrades we don't have any spare resources to really upgrade anyway, because we're going to spend them all just getting there. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to spend a compass and an arrowhead to advance to here. Now, that gets us a coin, which will be helpful. So, and advancing on the research track is your turn. So that's my turn for now. So back to Antoinette. She is going to defeat a guardian again. She's defeated them all, so she's going to grab. She's going to go up again to here and discard this tile. So again, if there's no guardians, she advances on the research track. Okay, so back to me. We could go up again. Why don't we do that? Because that will get us a compass. So again, spend a red gem to advance to this level. And that gets us this resource here, which is a compass. Okay. Now, back to Antoinette. She is looking for tablets. So she'll go there. I have no more resources to advance. And now, remember, we can't actually advance to the next stage on the research track right now because we need one of these tokens to be hit first. So, can't do that. All we can really do now is spend some coins for some new cards. So we've got a couple of options there. This one will just get us more coins. This one gives us a coin and gain compasses for each of your already placed workers on the board. So at best, that would give you a coin and 2 compasses, which is nice, but not like the timing is pretty situational there. I'd really like that horse, to be honest, but I don't think it's going to happen, so I might just grab this gold pan, and we can hope that another card that's better value comes up in the next, when I replenish it. So this only costs 1, so we're going to spend 1 coin. So remember, this goes on the bottom, so underneath the card that's still there, which I'm pretty sure is that fear card, so we can't rely on our next card draw. So do this. Perfect. So the rope here costs 2 coins. Sorry, how do you break up? So it costs 2 coins to discard a card, but lets you draw 2 cards. And since we're buying quite a few cards, that will let us cycle quite nicely. So, but first, back to Antoinette. So she's going to take a random idol. So she's going to take an idol, and that goes there. It's worth 3 points for her. Okay, so now we can buy our next card. So I'm going to buy this rope. And again, goes on the bottom. Now all we have left is a compass, and the artifacts all cost 3 or 4 compasses, so that's not going to be much help. So we're just going to have to save that for our exploring next round. So Antoinette will wrap up her round, so she's looking for gold. And she's going to grab an artifact, the artifact with the most points, which is this one here for 2 points. Okay. And that's round 2. Okay, so clean up for round 2. So remember, first we get rid of these cards on either side. Advance this again. So we're now even for the number of artifacts and... Oh, sorry, what I should do is move this down. Then, yep, there we go. Okay, so... So we replenish the cards, we pull back our workers, and again, thankfully, there are no guardians, so I don't have to worry about fear. Okay, so, what now? What am I forgetting? You replenish assistance, which I don't have. Where's my reference sheet? On the floor, probably. Never mind. I think that's it, though. We'll hit next round on the app. I think that's it. Okay, so, drawing cards, of course. So, we'll just shuffle these. Okay, so, round 3. So let's draw our cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Antoinette is going to look for gems. Oops. So she's going to go down here. Okay, so what have we got? We have a fear still. Got some coins. Good way to draw some more cards. And some more free resources. So I know my hats and ostrich is still in there, so it would be a good option to get those out early. So I think we're going to use this. Hang on a sec. Because we have these locations that we can explore now. And Antoinette will go there early. She's going to be quick on the ball to grab those. So if we want to use them, best to use them now. But I don't know that they're going to be our best option, because right now we really need to focus on exploring new locations so we can keep advancing up the research board. So I think we're just going to take our chances and not explore there. So what we're going to do is we're going to play our rope. So rope is discard a card to draw 2 cards. So I'm going to discard that fear card that we don't need. And draw cards and hope that it's our hat and ostrich, and it is not. Okay, so we know the 2 cards left in there are good. Okay, so back to Antoinette. She's looking for arrowhead, so she's going to block this. So now would be our last chance probably to grab this. Now, knowing that our 2 cards left are our powerful cards, I I now think that's actually a pretty good option. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So yeah, just to guarantee that I get my one of those good cards, and it is the ostrich. Excellent. And we get a coin and a tablet. Now we do need tablets to research the next stage, so that's just as well. Okay, so back to Antoinette. She is grabbing an artifact worth the most points, which is that one. Slide down. Okay. Now, we want to explore, if possible, with our one remaining worker. We have one compass here, but I also have some other options for compasses in here. Oops, we don't have our hat, which gives us a compass, but we do have... yeah, you have these two. So what we'll do... Oh, you know what I didn't do last round? So I cheated. So last turn, when I put a worker here to take this action, I would have had to put down a card. And this is where the game is fiddly. So every action requires like 2 or 3 resources. So there is some fiddly upkeep here. So I need to have discarded a card. So what did I have in my hand at the time? You know what? I'm just going to have spent my wild playing, which isn't the best use of it, but that's to counter my having cheated. Okay. Okay, so that's last round fixed. So this round, I'm going to discard these 2 cards for the compasses. As a free action. And now to explore, we're going to play the ostrich. So draw a card, which will get me my last card out of my hand, out of my deck. Then again, explore with a free card. So any of these locations will be free. Let's just go here, that's closest. Okay, so first we've got locations. So we have here fear, compass, gem, or compass and arrowhead. Now we don't really have any great options for exiling right now, so I'd rather not take on any more fear. So we're just going to take this one. Okay, so we get a... We don't really need the gems immediately anyway, so I think that's a good option. So we're going to take an arrowhead and a compass. Oh, and I had to have spent 3 again. So hard to remember all the different resources you need. So spending 3 compasses for having explored here. Now, Guardian, that's a giant Komodo dragon. Or a distant cousin, perhaps. Okay, so that is going to require a foot icon, a tablet, and an arrowhead, which we have, but I'd rather not have to spend those resources unnecessarily. Okay, well, that's something to worry about next turn. So what we do also have is our bonus. So let's go here. Okay, Ancient Waypoint. We found another statue of a frog warrior, similar to those we saw in a few locations nearby. We hope that cross-referencing the inscriptions might help us map the pathways between the ancient settlements here. So, we've got a compass and a tablet, or exile a card and a compass. I think we might take the first option, because we have an exile ability here if we can kill this guardian. And we do need a second tablet in order to research the next point here. So I think we're going to take the first option, which is a compass and a tablet. Okay, so back to Antoinette. She is looking for tablets. So there. Now, so we have a couple of options now. We can defeat the Guardian, which we have the resources for, or we can advance to the next research track, which we need to do, but we don't have the resources for both, unfortunately. Now, killing that Guardian, overcoming the Guardian and defeating it like a Pokemon, that will both let us get rid of a fear card and stop us from getting another one at the end of the turn. So that's a difference of 2 fear cards. So that is a pretty helpful bet. As far as our cards are concerned, it's pretty much just a whole bunch of gold. So we can set ourselves up pretty well for next round, and hope to maybe blitz the research track then. So I think we're just going to take care of the Guardian. So have to spend a foot token. So spend a car as a wild there, a tablet and an arrowhead to defeat him. And that's that. Okay. So now Antoinette is taking an item, but they're all worth the same. So, oh no, she's going to take the horse. I was going to buy that horse next round. Oh well. Kingdom for a horse. Okay. Okay. So, what do we have now? So, we don't have any resources left to research. So, for now, let's just spend these cards, since we have no workers left. So, what's that? That's 4 gold and a compass. So, you already have all the compasses we would need to research next round. Or, we could spend those compasses. Oh, we have a cameo here. Say hello, Mort. Oh dear. Hello, Mort. So the camera angle isn't great for that. Oh, but okay. No jumping on the table, please. Okay. Where were we? So let's see what artifacts we have here. So what I haven't explained with artifacts is they work differently from items. Not only do you spend compasses to buy them, but you get the benefit immediately. So I was to buy this card with compasses, get that effect straight away. But it then goes to my discard pile, and next time I get that card and want to use it again, it costs a tablet. So here it's quite small, but the first use is free and immediate, but any future uses require a tablet. Now but they all tend to be pretty powerful at the same time. What that one would do is reveal a new location tile, get the benefits immediately, and then put it back on the bottom. Or a fear card and a gem. Now a gem, again, still isn't super useful for us right now. We don't need those urgently. We could take our chances with the guiding stone there. It's going to give us a random assortment of resources though. But again, we might be able to use this again. If we get it now, use it early, might be able to use it again. Unfortunately, I don't have enough for this one here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to buy this card for 3 compasses. So what that lets us do is we reveal the top tile of the location stacks. Oh, and it's a gem anyway, without the fear card, so it actually paid off. So we get a gem. This now goes back to the stack, so it's not we don't explore it, unfortunately. And then this goes to my discard. We may see that again next round, we may not, we'll see. And then these replenish. And then back to Antoinette. So Antoinette is going to defeat the Guardian, but there are none because I've been pretty on the ball with that. So she's instead going to advance here. So she's really blitzing that research track. I, on the other hand, have 5 coins left to burn. This machete is pretty useful, but again, we've been pretty good at burning those fear cards, so that's not really vital. This one is only cost 1, and I can exile it to gain 3 compasses. Now, considering how important exploring is in this game, this could be useful, and it only costs 1, so we can wait and see what comes up and maybe buy that. So let's do that. We'll buy this for 1 coin. So this is Hot Air Balloon. Exile the card to put a worker down with a discount of a plane, and it gives you a discount of 3 compasses. So it's a worker without, so you can basically explore the worker without spending the travel icon or the compasses. Which again, as far as this mission is concerned, that is pretty useful. Of course, now what I'm now remembering is what we should have spent the 5 coins on was the plane. That is a special mission specific card, but hot air balloon is much more fun than a plane, so let's take that. Okay, so we'll buy that. Sorry, that goes on the bottom of my deck. Okay, so that one costs 3, so we can't afford that. Okay. Okay, so let's see Internet wrap up her turn. She's going to take an idol. And it's a tablet. Now, because she already has a tablet icon, that's going to go over here instead, and it's only worth 2 points instead of 3 to her. So that's actually good. I think I'm having to pass. We have some resources here, but not what we need to research. We can't afford any of the cards, so I think that's going to be it for now, as far as we're concerned. Oh, no, wait, what we can do as a free action is discard this, flip the Guardian card to get rid of that last fear. There we go. No more fear in the deck. Just going to blast straight to this forest. No shit's given. Okay. Real Pokemon master here. Okay. Okay, so she's going to research on the right. Okay, and discard a assistant. And we'll cycle through. She's going to take a coin, but because it's the end of the round, that doesn't really matter. So, okay, so that's that. So that's 3 rounds of 4. We're getting through this pretty well. So let's just cycle these. This goes up to 4. Only 2 rounds left. This game does go pretty quickly, and compared to most deck building games, you don't really get to see a huge arc in your deck over the course of it, unless you can very quickly find a way of cycling through that, which we're doing a decent job of this game, to be honest, but it often feels like you only get to see each card like once or twice. Okay, so pulling assistants back, no guardians to worry about. Okay. And assistants, that's sorted, and cards. Okay, so I can't remember. Oh, that's right, we just bought 2 cards. That's what's we're definitely getting those 2 cards next. So we're guaranteed to get a decent hand, and we don't have fear to worry about. So this may be a good round. It may be a good time to start trying to catch up on that research track. I don't think we're going to get to the top, but we'll see. Of course, what I could have done actually. Oh, you know what I should have done is I could have started advancing my book instead, and then getting an assistant, but too late for that. I absolutely should have done that, because then I could have activated the assistant last round, and then again this round. Oh well. Okay. So, 5 cards. Okay, what have we got? We've got our ostrich, handy ostrich. So, again, cheap exploration. Coin, our hat for a coin and a compass, our hot air balloon, which gives us cheap exploration as well. That could be very useful out of the gate. And we have a map that we can exile for 3 compasses. So you know what, we may be able to explore twice this round. Now, normally, if we had that many compasses and that cheap exploration, I would go to level 2 here. Now, I'm pretty sure part of this mission is actually that level 2 is blocked off. We're ignoring level 2 as far as this mission is concerned. And what we really need is these tokens anyway. So, yeah, no, that's blocked off. We'll focus on the tokens here. So let's see what's up. Still no guardians for Internet to fight. She's just having a stroll through the forest there, researching. Okay, so we can start researching right away. Now, the first question is, do we want to visit either of those locations before internet takes them? But considering we're going to get 2 new ones, I think we're better off to wait and see what we get from those first anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to exile this card, so out of our hand completely, but 3 compasses. Okay, Antoinette is going to research again. She's at the top of the track. Damn. Okay, now one thing I'll have to clarify is I think subsequently, yeah, let's just double check this quickly. Player, where are the rules? Does not discover new sites. Instead, she randomly draws. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to find where the rules are here. Oh, down here. Oops, rules. Okay. You know what, I think it's in the basic solo rules. Let me just grab this rule book to clarify. I think what happens now is from now on, whenever she gets a compass, sorry, a research action, she just takes one of the silver 6-point tokens. But I'm just going to very quickly double check that. And I'm also just going to check the status of my battery in case it's dying. Okay, yeah, I don't know if the battery's going to last, so let me just plug this back in again. Okay. Sorry, the charging cable keeps trying to pull the phone out of line there. No, it's fine. I think it's very slowly panning across. Okay. No, I think it's fine. Am I imagining things, or is that camera moving? Okay. Anyone watching, let me know if it gets bumps too much. I'll keep an eye. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the preview. Okay. Oops, where's that rule book? Yeah, okay, so I was right. If the rival cannot advance because they've already reached the Lost Temple, give them a 6-point tile instead. Okay, so that's straightforward. And so she's probably going to get 2 of those next round. So that's 12 points that she's probably guaranteed unless she has a Guardian to fight. Okay. Mind you, if we're fighting the Guardians for her, that's getting us lots of points as well. So I think we'll be fine. So she advanced to the top of the temple there. Okay, so back to us. What have we got still? We are exploring. So, why don't we start with our hot air balloon? So, again, we're exiling this card for good, but it gets us go to a location without paying a card, other than this card, obviously, or paying the 3 coins. So, sorry, paying the 3 compasses. Okay, so that's, so we go here. So we're going to look at 2 locations. Okay, so compass and, sorry, tablet and arrowhead, or fear card, tablet, gem. The allotments of these are also random. It often throws me out, sorry. Okay, so what we need right now is tablets and arrowheads. So I think we're going to choose this one. I'm going to take that compass and arrowhead. Not compass, tablet and arrowhead. It's also arbitrary, the rewards in this game. Okay, so then we get our Guardian, and we've got a nasty beetle, giant scarab thing. Okay, so he's going to require coins and arrowhead. Now, thankfully, coins are pretty good for right now. The spare arrowhead might be a little trickier. So, what we do then is we get our bonus. Okay, an old friend. Today an old friend contacted me, one of those who joined Antoinette. He seems to be reconsidering now. Maybe I could talk him into deciding sooner rather than later. There is no telling when another of my comrades might become swayed by Antoinette's charm. Okay. Well, so it would let me swap out an assistant, but unfortunately we don't have any assistants. So our other option is just to take a arrowhead, which, fortunately for us, is exactly what we need to defeat the Guardian. So that's fine. I'll take that. Okay. So back to Antoinette. What's she been up to? She is looking for gems, which is still the only one available is down here. Okay. That camera is moving. No, I think it's still fine. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Where were we? We were going to try and research again. So we've still got those compasses will be collected. And a worker. So why don't we jump back on our ostrich? We're like Alfred Molina in Prince of Persia. Oops. Not a terrible video game movie for what it's worth. Okay, so ostrich to draw a card and put our worker down without paying a car. So we're going to go there. Okay, so again, let's go through all that process again. We're going to look at 2 locations. Draw a card and compass. So draw a card and tablet, or coin tablet. Now, I think there's still some pretty good cards in there. So I think we're going to grab this one so we can cycle through that deck some more. Okay. So that's going to let us draw a card and a arrowhead. So, now the Guardian. There's always a Guardian. Big snake. There are always snakes. Compass, arrowhead, and coin. We might be able to deal with that. Okay. So, we are... Oh, okay. And finally, we get another bonus here. A tame beast. Today seemed like an especially long day. It made me miss some of my former comrades. I even went through some of our old correspondence, and actually I found a few interesting things that could prove useful to our current research. So, again, this is using assistant. Okay, so this would let us use an assistant that's on the supply board without actually buying them. Now, unfortunately, let me move this camera because you can't actually see the assistants right now. Okay, let me move this pesky camera back again, and I can just move this very slightly. That works. Okay, so you can see the assistants on the bottom right there. So the assistants all have 2 levels. There's the silver side and the gold side. So when you move the book up to this location, you get an assistant on the silver side. They go there. You can then tap them to get the benefit. And each round they untap automatically. Now, if you move the book up some more to the gold location, you can flip them to the gold side, which gives you an upgraded version of that benefit. So, but the amount of time it takes to get the book up to that point is rarely worth it, because then you're only really getting them for like once or twice maybe. So I've never really focused on them too heavily, but right now we can get the gold side of an assistant for free, which could be either 3 coins, a coin and a tablet, or an arrowhead. Now, we need plenty of arrowheads right now with these guardians that are proliferating across the board. So our other option is gain a gold and flip one of your used guardians. Now, the guardians, they all gave us a boat. Sorry, they gave us a plane and exile, we have no more fear to exile, so that's not really a concern. And we've got so much free travel. Also not worried about that. So I think I'm just going to choose the gold side of this fellow here, which is an arrowhead. So, no, you know what? I think we might need the tablet more. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take the coin and the tablet, to be honest. Okay. I can reach. Oh. Okay, so. Back to Antoinette. She's looking for coins. And so, it's going to be one of these two, but she's going to go to the right, so she's going to go here. Okay, now we have a bunch of, speaking of coins, we have all of our resource cards left. So that is 5 coins and a compass. So why don't we grab all of that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's at the point where we can certainly buy items, but we're only going to see them once, maybe twice. Maybe not even once, because we still have some cards in the deck here. So it's better off looking at the points that they're going to give you rather than necessarily the benefit. Because we're going to have to start looking at maximizing points shortly. So, of course, we do also have the aeroplane down here. It's worth 5 coins. And what does the aeroplane do again? That is similar to our air balloon. We can put a worker down with a discount of a plane symbol and spend 2 less compasses. But it's also worth 3 points at the end of the game. So that alone, I think, is going to be worth it. So I'm going to spend 5 coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To put the aeroplane on the bottom. Okay. So Antoinette is taking the item with the most points, which is this one. Now, I really need to start researching, so I'm going to spend 2 tablets and an arrowhead to go up here, and that's going to get us a compass. Okay. Antoinette is looking for tablets now, so she's going to go here. Now, can I advance? I can. So I've got several options now. I can go to any of these 3 spaces, and some of these include a bonus. Now what I really need to start thinking about is what resources do I need for the Guardians and what's left over. So let's start assigning some resources. So let's say that's for Guardian 1. That's for Guardian 2. So what we have left over is gem and tablet, which is pretty clearly guides us to here. But we also have these compasses and could easily use some of those to buy an artifact. So what do we have available there? We have card draw and coin. We have exchange and assistant, which is no use to us. We've got exile, which is no use to us. And we have draw up to 2 cards on the bottom of your deck, keep 1 and discard the other, which is a pretty handy exile option. Okay, so, but again, that's pretty unpredictable. We really don't know what we're going to get out of either of those. So let's just keep it simple for now. We're going to explore here, which gets us a compass and, sorry, spends a tablet and a gem and gets us a compass and a coin from this token. Okay, so Antoinette is going to grab an artifact, the most expensive one, which is this. Oh, the one we were thinking about. I should have grabbed that while I could have. I forgot that she still had that option. Okay, so these are going to slide down. But you never know, the next thing that comes out might be useful. It is the ocarina. Return a placed worker to your board. That is actually very powerful. So it means I can basically take one of these again. Okay. Unfortunately, what we don't have is any cards to actually spend. I don't have any trouble icons left to actually put that worker out. So that's not necessarily a great idea after all. Okay. Why don't we... Oh, you know what? Okay, easy. Solved. What we're going to do is we're going to defeat a guardian. So let's defeat the snakes. Archaeologist's greatest fear. So let's get rid of that, which actually gives us a trouble icon. Okay, Antoinette is going to get 2 idols. So the first one is a coin, which again she already has, so 2 points for her, and another coin, so she drew the short straw there. Okay, so now what we can do is spend all of these compasses that we have on that ocarina. You love me an ocarina. Okay, so 4 compasses to get this. Now what that lets me do is return a placed worker to my board. Now, here's one trick you can. This is really useful for. Is say you've got a guardian, you can't defeat it, and you really don't want that fear card. So what you can use this to pull this away, and now I don't have to worry about getting a fear card by not defeating the guardian, which is actually a decent idea considering I might be able to use these resources better elsewhere. Now, unfortunately, that's neither of those things is what I need to advance, so it's not necessarily a great idea. I think I'm going to retrieve the other one there, just to drawing a card, basically. So, we get a free use of this card, which lets us return the worker to us. Okay, so, and finish this. Okay, Antoinette is looking. Oh, she's gonna take that. She took the spot that we just freed up. Oh. All right. Oh well. Okay. That's a pain. But she's done now, so we can do whatever we like with whatever we have left. We have a whole worker. Unfortunately, I don't have compasses left to explore. But, we could just go here and get compass and arrowhead. Although, no, I can't even do that because the symbol I have is actually for a boat, not for a car. So, man, Antoinette really messed me up there. Okay. My only option, I think, will be to go to one of these base locations at the bottom in that case. So, oh no, you know what? This one says, so the other benefit of this is each of my travel icons counts as a plane this round. So actually all of my travel icons are wild, which means I can use the snake. So I ride the giant snake over to, this one, over to here, get a compass and an arrowhead. Bam. Okay. Now, I have 3 coins, but that's not enough to buy either of the actions out there. Oh no, that's right. What we have to do is we have to defeat this guardian. So 2 coins and an arrowhead, which gives us another travel icon for next round. Okay, so, alright. I think that's this round. Okay, so let's set this up for final showdown. Okay, can we get to the objective? And we don't have to get to the top, we just have to get to this clock here. So we have to advance 2 more spots. I really need to start hyper-focusing on that though, because I've been somewhat a little bit distracted by looking at all the other shiny things. Okay, so lots of artifacts to choose from now. So this one actually would let me defeat a guardian for free. That's a very handy card. Okay, what are we doing? We are pulling these back. Still no fear cards. This is like the least number of fear cards I've ever had in this game. Okay, so shuffle cards. Still quite a few cards in that deck, so I may have perhaps been buying too many and not cycling well enough. Let's see what we can manage here. There's still quite a few draw card options on the board, so okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What have we got here? We have our aeroplane, which is cheap exploration. We have some compasses, which aren't very useful. We have our rope, which is very useful for helping us cycle all the other cards in our deck. And we have the guiding stone that will let us look at one of the exploration card tiles and just take the benefits of it. So, okay. Well, first let's see what Antoinette is doing. She is looking for coins, so she is going to grab this spot here. Okay, so we don't quite have enough compasses yet, although we do have that aeroplane that will give us a discount. But what do we really need right now? What we really need is a gem. Now, chances are exploring, we look at 2 tiles, chances are one of them will have a gem on it, I think. I'm going to take my chances with that for now, and then we'll improvise if that fails. So, if it doesn't give us a gem, it'll give me a tablet that will let me use the guiding stone to look for a gem. So let's do that. So we're going to play the aeroplane. Put a worker down. It's a discount of a plane. Let's say here. And a discount of 2 compasses, which we only need to spend 1 compass. Okay, so what does that get us? Look at 2 of these. We are looking at, there we go, perfect. So we don't want the fear card because it's too late to start exiling things now. So we're just going to take the simple, keep it nice and easy, we're going to take a gem. So that goes to the bottom. And Guardian, which is going to be, what is that? Looks like a hippo with tusks. As if hippos weren't deadly enough already. So that's a boat and a arrowhead. Okay, so now we've got our icon here, which is this one. Unexpected help. It seems that some of my former comrades are feeling guilty about deserting me. I met Victor today by chance. We talked for a while and he offered to help us a bit before heading back. It is nice to know he is still such a decent fellow. There's some weird dynamics going on in this group. Gain an extra worker from the rival's reserve. Once you have used it, it immediately becomes your rival's worker again. So you can't overcome a guardian with it on a later turn. Huh. That's actually pretty useful. Okay, I'm going to do that. The other option is exiling a card in a tablet, but we have nothing worth exiling. So, okay, so we have a little bit of extra wiggle room this round. Very helpful. So let's see what Antoinette's doing. He gave us some insight to her plans. So she is looking for tablets, so which is going to be there. So, I also need a tablet if I'm going to use that guiding stone. But for now, what I can do is we can start advancing, because we absolutely have to reach this or we instantly fail. So let's do that. We get a compass. She's going to defeat the guardian or advance, which means she gets a silver tile. Okay, so what do I need now? I need 2 tablets and a arrowhead. Okay, so best chance of that is probably going to be, what have we got here? We've got okay, most of these artifact cards aren't very useful, because I mean artifacts are very useful right now in that you can you get the benefits instantly. You don't have to wait to draw the card. But the only one there that's going to be any potentially useful is draw 2 cards in the bottom of your deck. Now, oh, you know what? Okay, first what we're going to do is we're going to use our rope. So cycle through a bit. So we're going to discard a card. We'll just discard this basic compass card. So draw 2. Okay, so we've got our ostrich. Again, cheap exploration. And we've got our ocarina, which again also needs tablets. So we're in dire need of tablets right now. Okay, so assuming Antoinette doesn't go there right now, which she doesn't. Okay, so Antoinette's going to go looking for gems. And so then we're going to go to, actually what we'll do is we'll play the ostrich, so draw a card, and then visit a location without having to pay a card. So we'll go there, which is to draw another card, a coin, and a tablet. So, okay, all we drew was some more coins and some more resource cards. Okay, so Antoinette again is advancing, so another tile. Okay, we still need more tablets. Okay, I mean, we have our spare worker. We could just go and get 2 tablets here, I think. I mean, I could take a complete gamble and hope that the tile on top here, top of the deck, is going to give me the tablets, but it's a bit late in the game to be taking gambles, so I think we're going to leave it nice and simple. So I need a foot. You know what, I'm just going to play, no more chance to use it, so I'm going to use my guardian icon. For a foot, we're going to take 2 tablets. And, okay, that's it for now. Oh, I think she actually gets his back now. So we got the benefit, but worker helped us, but he's not changing his allegiances. So goes back to her. She's going to draw 2 more idols, which is a 2 of these icons. So one goes here, and then one goes over here. Okay, so let's start wrapping this up. So we have enough to get to the final location of our objective. So let's lock that in. We're going to pay the resources to go here. Okay. Let's see what that does for us. The owl. We finally tracked the owl to an ancient temple. The walls are covered with inscriptions. The owl guards this place fiercely, sitting on a hoard of ancient tablets. It seems to be particularly fond of any kind of writing. Could this be an advantage we need? The Owl Guardian cannot be overcome by any other means than paying the 3 tablets. Of course, I'm only now forgetting that we need even more tablets, so that might be a problem. That might be a big problem. Okay, well, let's see. So our mandatory goal is to defeat this owl. So we still need 2 more tablets in order to do so. Let's first check in with Antoinette. She's looking for arrowheads over here. Now most of what I have here is just collecting resources. So first let's do that. So we've got two coins and 2 compasses. Now, buying an item isn't very useful to me right now because, you know what? How many cards are left in this deck? 2. Okay, well that doesn't matter then. So I don't actually remember what they are. But if I buy this card, it will let me look at both of them and choose one to keep. This is where it comes in handy to be able to look at your deck. The BGA implementation actually did add a feature recently, but you can just look at the entirety of the cards in your deck at any time. So it's a much easier way to tell by process of elimination what's still in there. I know it's a good card because we've seen all of the basic income cards. I think that's really our only chance of possibly seeing a tablet right now because... Oh, hang on. We have an assistant here. We have an assistant here that will give us a tablet. Only one though. And we don't have the resources to advance here either. Okay. Although, hang on. When we advanced here, we also drew a card. I forgot about that. And there's more coins. Okay, well that's no help at all. So we have a bunch of coins. Okay. Man, I really have no idea what this card is. It's going to save us at all, but I don't think so, to be honest. I completely forgot about this owl and that it was compulsory. So, there's all of these artifacts. Oh, hang on. Yes! Eureka! Okay. This card here lets me exile a card, which doesn't matter, but activate an unoccupied base location. Now, technically we did already go to this location, but the work went back to Antoinette, so it is now, once again, unoccupied. So, this is what I'm talking about. This game is all about improvisation and a fair bit of luck. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay 4 compasses, which we have exactly enough of, to buy this card. We can exile something, but it doesn't matter. I'm gonna exile my basic income card, and then activate this location for 2 compasses. Phew. Okay, we found the solution. Okay. And then she's going to take an artifact, the most worth the most points, which is that one. Okay, so now I can spend these 3 tablets to defeat the Guardian. And do I get the... I think I get the journal instantly, don't I? So overcome the Owl Guardian. Okay, so it doesn't give me any flavour text, but I'm pretty sure it said... where was it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so once you've overcome the Owl Guardian, keep it as usual. You can use its boon, and then add the journal to your hands. Oh, straight to my hand. Okay. Now, so remember, so what this journal does is I can exile this from the game to move my book up 1 space. Now, the problem with that is that in of itself isn't going to be worth any points. It'll get me an assistant, but it's not going to get me any actual points because the assistant's just worth like coins here, really. I'd lose a point by exiling the card, and there is also an achievement if I don't use the journal. Oh no, okay, that doesn't matter. No, the achievement only matters if I get my book up here as well, which I'm definitely not going to do. So, okay, that achievement doesn't matter, but I'd still get a point just for keeping this card in my deck, as opposed to spending it to get an assistant, which I don't think will net me anything. Let's just see where this goes. So she's going to take an item, which is only this one left. Enjoy your donkey. Oh, dog. Doggo, okay. Okay. Oh, I still have these other cards in my hand. Oh. Okay. Okay, we can push our luck here and see how far we get. So, because I have these cards here that require tablets to spend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually burn the journal to research for my book for free, which gets me an assistant. I'm going to take this fellow here, and immediately assistants are a free action to activate. So I'm gonna tap him to get the tablet. Now, internet's done. By the way, her game is over, so we can just play here and see what we get. So I can now spend this tablet to activate one of my cards. One of these will let me return a worker to my hand. The other will let me activate. I can basically look at the top location tile on the deck and activate it. So basically, I can either get I can revisit one of these locations, or I can get a random one from the deck. Now, it's worth keeping in mind that I don't think I can defeat this Guardian. I don't have a... Although, defeating a Guardian is worth 5 points alone, so if I can find a way to do that, that's the best value of points. So even if I can increase my book again, that's not a huge number of... increasing the book is only worth 1 point. Increasing the tablet is worth 4, but requires quite a few resources to do. So if I can find a way to defeat the Guardian, that is absolutely better value. So what I'm going to do is spend the tablet to activate my Guardian's Ocarina, which lets me return a worker. And now also all of my icons are planes, but they already are. Anyway, so now I'm going to... Okay, so what I need is an arrowhead. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here. We're going to get a tablet and an arrowhead. Sorry, a compass and an arrowhead. Now, to go there, I need to spend my other card with the travel icon. Now, I can defeat this Guardian. What I need is a boat. Now, I've got a Guardian, the owl. I can still use its travel icon. I'm going to flip that. Spend the arrowhead we just got to take this Guardian. And that's a lot. 7 Guardians we defeated. Good work. That is 35 points right there. So that may be our saving grace. And I think that is game. Well, no, hang on. We have coins. We have 5 coins. Obviously, we're not going to have the chance to use these cards, but they are just also worth points. So there's literally no choices to what I can buy. So we'll just 3 coins to the dog. And what's up next? It's a card we can't afford. Okay, that's fine. So that's it. That is the game. So now we go to the scoring phase, and I'll show you here. So it's a handy little scoring table that calculates everything for you. So what we're going to do is we got to what? So first it's our number of points for the research track. So we got 12 points for getting our magnifying glass here. 0 points for our book. So 12 points. Antoinette, on the other hand, got 23 points. So that is a fair lead. Okay. Okay. Now, the points for the tablets. She got 2 of those. That's another 12 points. Okay. 12 points, and we got a 0. Now, idols. She has 3 that are worth 3 points. That's 9. And then another 4 that are worth 2. So that's it's 9 plus 8. So that is 17. And we don't get any idols because they're not available in the game, but it did this give us, hang on a sec, we got 17 points. Oh, okay, so yeah, one source of points is you actually have a net 10 points. So you start the game with 10 points, but you can basically spend those points when you use the idol's abilities. But that wasn't really a factor in this game, since we couldn't get idols, so we just get those 10 points. So that may help, but she has 30-point legal so far. Luckily, Guardians. She has literally no Guardians. We have 7. Yep, 7 Guardians. That is 35 points. So there's the lead gone. So we're now 5 points ahead. Now we're looking at... So this is what it's going to kind of come down to, is just the number of points from cards in the deck. So let's count hers first. I'll just leave this here. So she takes 2 cards every round, so she'll have 10 cards here. We bought quite a few as well, but the point value does fluctuate quite a bit. So she has 3, 6, 8, 9, 11, 13, 14, 16, 17 points from cards. I think we may have it in the bag. Let's see what we've got here. I have 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Okay, it's going to be close. In fact, we both have 69 points. Very nice. Okay, let me just double check if there isn't something I'm missing here. Let me just double check those points. So it was in fact 35 from those. Yep. I felt like I bought more cards than that. I guess we did exile a couple, so that might have been a downfall. So 3, 4. Oh, you know what? I don't think we did any of the achievements, did we? Hang on. No, we didn't get any of the achievements. Oh well. Okay. So 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. Okay. And check her points. That is 1, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, 14, 16, 17. Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to have to call it a draw, I guess. 69. Okay. So, let's see what we get here. After some trial and error, we discovered that the owl actually became peaceful after we offered a few tablets for its hoard, and it even lets us take the suspicious journal from its collection. Hopefully the journal has more information about the destination Professor Cutel had in mind. If you successfully completed this chapter, you gain a reward to carry on to the next chapter. So basically we can choose a card to start our deck with next game. So, okay, so if we completed the achievements, we would have had the choice. But since we didn't get do any achievements, we get the journal. The journal, let's get researched on the book research track for free. So that we'd start our deck with that card. Okay, and that is that. So we ended with a draw. That's not bad because it's cumulative over the course of the campaign. So there's still plenty of room to catch up to Antoinette. She is proved a equal rival. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't intending to continue this. I was just going to do this a one-off to give everyone else an idea of what the campaign is like and how it mixes things up from the base rules for you to try it for yourself. I mean, it's not... Unfortunately, there's no online implementations. You have to have the physical game to play this. But it's a great production, as you can see. Lovely components, lovely art. And there's an expansion coming out later this year. And of course, with all the awards it's getting, it may prove hard to get soon. So if you would like a copy of this, I would recommend trying to do so quite soon before it sells out, if it hasn't already, with all the Dice Tower awards it just won. So that was Mission 1 of the solo campaign. If you
liked this and would like to see me work through the rest of it, please let me know. And of course we still have our snacks there. I'll be posting some more photos with more details on that in the coming days. So keep an eye out for that, and keep an eye out for the new side projects. Let me move the camera, sorry. One sec. There we go. Okay, so yeah, keep an eye out for the new side project collaboration that I'll be announcing in a couple of weeks, hopefully. That will be also related to Lost Ruins of Arnak, so could be a good chance for me to continue with the campaign. If there's interest, do let me know. So I'm not giving out an official review of this necessarily, at least on my main channel, but I will be putting out some of my thoughts with the other side projects. So keep an eye out on that. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me. I think there's still a few of you hanging around there. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll be putting this up on video on demand, assuming that all goes smoothly, and I turned on the right settings. So we'll see about that. But yeah, have a great week, everyone. Let me... yeah, I guess there's an option to raid here. I wonder who I could raid. Let me have a look. Who's online? Silver Meadow Tavern. That'll do. Okay. Why not we raid Silver Meadow Tavern? Okay, thanks everyone for joining, and I said, hey, have a good week. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the game. Good